All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is once again time for the FusionCast. I'm your host.
FusionCast.
I am your host, Fusion64, and along with me every week, unfortunately, once again, is Rebel Blood 80.
Unfortunately for you and unfortunately for me.
And unfortunately for the viewers, too.
Aw. Somebody out there likes me.
Somebody loves you. We just haven't found him yet.
Or her. Or them.
Or them, yeah. Or Z.
Or it. Or Zer.
Yeah. How's it going, sir?
That's going okay. A little tired today. Busy day.
It was. We had a snowstorm here.
We did. And I worked today, and on my lunch, I shoveled my driveway.
Nice. Well, nobody wants to hear about our snowstorm and shoveling in the driveway. We had some interesting...
Nobody wants to hear about grown-up stuff.
Definitely not, no. We had some interesting stuff in the world of video games. Well, not really happened, but we've had some interesting rumors as of late, wouldn't you say?
Some stuff on the horizon.
On the interwebs.
Yeah, and I think some people are upset, and I don't think they should be. At least not yet.
Well, we gotta reframe this. Remember, a few months ago we had talked about the CFO of Xbox's comments that he made. Basically his comments were, he's like, I'm not here to announce anything generally, but we've had a new direction, and we want to put our games and services on every screen, including what we used to think as competitors, and is in PlayStation, Nintendo. We want to bring our games to GeForce now, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's wrong. Daddy Phil, he set him straight. And then,
why do you keep putting words in my mouth? I never said that.
I listened to the episode you did. You were like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's wrong. And then, I think Jez Corden, I think of Windows Central, had an interview with Phil the next day and said he asked him if Game Pass was coming to PlayStation and Nintendo, and he said, we currently have no plans to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and Nintendo. And I said he was lying. Well, I mean, I didn't say he was lying, but he knows how to articulate his words to the fan base.
What?
And I told you, we had talked about this, and we both agreed that some games we could see coming as a la carte, basically just third-party games. And I think even one of the games we talked about was Hi-Fi Rush, because I did rewatch the podcast, and we were both like, yeah, totally. We could totally see Hi-Fi Rush coming. And as of last week, there was a big rumor. Nate the Hate. Do you know who Nate the Hate is?
I do not. But before we get into that, I got to say, when you're doing the angry rebel voice, the past rebel voice.
There's women in these games.
What I was talking about when we were on that, the discussion was more towards like games like Halo and stuff like that, and I was adamant that was not going to happen, and I'm still adamant that's not going to happen. Halo, Gears, but go ahead. Who's Nate the Hate? Am I going to hate him?
Nate the Hate. Have you heard of the Spawncast? Spawnwave Media.
I do. I actually watch them.
The Spawncast. He's usually on there, and
along with RGT
85 and MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer, and stuff. And Nate does usually get a lot of stuff right. He does sometimes get some stuff wrong, but I think he's a pretty good track record of leaks and stuff. He basically I'd say the week before the Game Awards came out and said that Arcane Leon was going to have a game there at the Game Awards, which is pretty specific. And he basically said that a high-profile game, he knows of a first-party high-profile game in the year that it came out, was a highly acclaimed game in the year it came out, was going to be coming to another console or new console, something like that.
See, I think that's misleading. Because if Bethesda was not owned by Xbox, would you call Hi-Fi Rush a high-profile game? I don't think I would. And it's only
I'm not sure if he said high-profile, but he did say a critically acclaimed game, something like that. I don't think he said high-profile.
That I take. Because, that game was their only critically acclaimed game of last year.
Yeah, totally. And really,
So we all know what he's talking about.
the only other critically acclaimed game that they've had it would be Horizon 5 lately.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Well, we don't know that for sure, but you think
No,
that
the
fanboys think that those games aren't coming, but
you would see Forza Motorsport on PS5 before you saw Forza Horizon.
no, because nobody would buy Forza Motorsport on PlayStation 5.
Exactly.
So that's why you wouldn't see that.
No, that's they're selling Xboxes with Forza Horizon, not Forza Motorsport.
So let me finish this before you start arguing.
Okay. Finish your thought.
So he basically came out and said that. Then we had someone on Reset Era basically can say that it was Hi-Fi Rush going to Switch, and this person on Reset Era has gotten some Persona stuff correctly, I guess. So people seem to believe him. Jez Corden said then all these people started coming out of the woodwork this week. Jez Corden said that he had talked to some people and heard that Xbox is potentially bringing some of its back catalog games to new platforms. Then we got Jeff Grubb and then Steven Totillo of Axios, who used to be with Kotaku, I believe, say that they had heard Sea of Thieves is potentially coming to PlayStation and Switch. So yeah, then Andy Robinson too of Video Game Chronicle said that as well. So everybody, once the one leak rumor came out, then everybody's like, I got one. So this seems to be happening. I remember I told you when the CFO said this stuff that there's two people in a Discord that I'm in have both ties to Bethesda, said that some stuff like this was happening. And so everybody seems to think that is Hi-Fi Rush coming to PlayStation 5 and or Switch. So okay, now the floor is yours. Go ahead.
I think for best results, to keep the Xbots happy, the Xbox fanboys happy, and to sell more copies would only be publishing it on Switch, right? Because you get the game out there. Switch is not a direct competitor to Xbox. Nobody views them as a competitor. And Nintendo doesn't even view themselves as competing. So it's really not you betrayed me, Xbox, by putting games that I only want to play on Xbox on other systems. You're not going to have any of that if you port games over to Switch, because they've already done it with like Ori and shit, right?
Well, Ori was like a second party game. It wasn't a first party game. It's a third party developer.
It was published by
it was published by Xbox. Sure,
it's published everywlet Xbox, I believe. Right?
That's similar to like As Dusk Falls coming, really kind of. So, well, let me start first. Do you believe any of these rumors that Hi-Fi Rush and or Sea of Thieves are coming to these other platforms?
I think Hi-Fi Rush is a definite and a good thing to do, because it is a good game. It deserves more sales, and it's going to get in front of more people. Sea of Thieves, I also think, is a good idea. I don't know if that's... I want to say it's likely.
I'm just curious, like how much longer are they going to support Sea of Thieves for? It like seems like it doesn't make. I guess maybe you could get, if they're planning on bringing it over. Oh, I know it was fairly popular. I'm just wondering. I don't know how popular it is. If it's like, because it's a live service game, so is it hitting its end of its life? If they're going to bring it to new platforms, I'm guessing that means they're going to support it for even longer. Really. I know they got a new season.
Probably,
up,
especially it's got to have cross-platform play though.
Oh
right?
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's got to have that, and it got panned upon release. I liked it when the game came out, but a lot of people didn't like the game or the loop or whatever. And then the game continued to get better, and then they dropped it on Steam, and it got really popular then. A lot of YouTubers and stuff were playing it then. So I imagine the same will happen if it drops on PS5. I can't imagine the Switch playing that game.
No, I don't
the
think
wave
so either,
distance and draw distance are something amazing in that game.
I really can't imagine. I mean, I guess Hi-Fi Rush could go to Switch. It'd probably be 30, which kind of would suck because that's like a rhythm action game. You would want that to be 60. Although, I mean, yeah, it's probably.
You don't have to be that precise in the game, right?
No.
I'm not rhythm.
There's been plenty of bad ports
inclined.
to Switch, so I'm guessing that nobody really cares, really.
Yeah, I mean they brought the Witcher 3 to Switch.
Right? Yeah. I'm sure it'd work on Switch fine.
It doesn't look very good though, but
Right.
it's there.
I just don't know, like, if I people think that this game's gonna sell like hotcakes on these other platforms. I'm
I think
I don't
Hi-Fi Rush
know.
would do very well on the Switch. I'm not so sure about the PS5.
I mean, there's a lot of games on the Switch that you would think would sell well that haven't. Like, Bayonetta still doesn't. It's an action game. It doesn't sell well. It sold like 1 million copies. That Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope bombed, and it's got Mario in it. So I mean, I don't think bringing it to Switch is an automatic guarantee. The first one did.
Mario Rabbids.
Yes, it did. I mean,
I know the
that
first
was in
one
the
was
launch
critically
year.
acclaimed.
That was in the launch year too. So I mean, that's when you had a lot less stuff to buy, really. Now, if they bring Hi-Fi Rush to Switch 2, and it's like touted as like a Switch 2 game, like a launch game, then I think it has a better chance to sell. But
I agree with you too.
I think the second Mario plus Rabbids kind of suffered from, obviously there's so much other stuff to play, and it's not, it's at the end of the Switch's life, really. Plus, I'm sure probably people bought I think people probably bought the first one and didn't really know what it was, and so they're like, "Oh yeah, this it's not for me, so I'm not buying the second one." Which the first game's awesome. So,
right, critics loved the first one, and people bought it because critics said so.
And it had Mario,
Said
and they didn't know what they were getting, probably.
Yeah, I liked it, and I know you liked it, and I know other people that would like the game, but it's not a must-own game, I don't think.
I just think go ahead. Sorry.
No. Hi-Fi Rush is a very pretty game, and it would pop on that Switch OLED screen.
Right, totally.
But I think putting it on the Switch 2 would be a very smart move, but I don't think it's gonna happen, or at least it's gonna be like an upgraded version when the Switch 2 comes out, because they're not going to announce coming to Switch 2 at an Xbox upcoming event. Right?
No, I'm sure if this is going to be announced at like a Nintendo Direct in like a State of Play probably, or something like that.
Yeah, and we don't have any one of those anytime soon, do we?
No, Nintendo Directs are usually in February. So, and State of Play are who knows. So
yeah, so we're not going to hear anything about this.
Probably at a minimum for like a month, probably. A lot of people have said that they heard early 2024. So.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox doesn't announce it at all and they just quietly drop it, because
probably like in like a Twitter post or something like that.
Yeah, because
they know
the blowback's already happening.
Oh yeah,
from them doing it
totally. And this is
but
just
they don't
a
care
rumor.
about their fans.
No,
but that's all systems. Sony doesn't care about their fans.
No,
Nintendo probably cares about their fans.
I just think the Hi-Fi Rush thing is like a slippery slope. I feel like and I feel like there's some internal struggle here within Microsoft, Bethesda, or Xbox and Bethesda. I mean, they spent a lot of money over the past few years at like 90 something billion dollars, and I feel like because the console sales, we've been saying for a while, they're not selling. So right, I feel like
they bought all these companies to make games for their systems, to sell systems. But now they're going to put these games on other systems too. You're like defeating yourself. But there's been internal struggles since the original Xbox, the OG Xbox, where people didn't want to be in the video game industry. And then the 360, it was still there. And then the Xbox One, it was still like, there's a large portion of the Microsoft company that does not want to be in the video game industry.
Well, I feel like
they don't.
Go ahead.
They don't care about their fans, the Xbox fans whatsoever. And I think it's a good thing that they're going to release some of because they own so many IPs now.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing that they'll release some of these games on other systems. But I can't imagine a Gears 6 coming to PlayStation 5 or a Halo. What's Beyond Infinite? Infinite? I don't know. Halo Beyond Infinite. Yeah, that's the next game. Coming to PlayStation 5 or anything like that, right?
I don't know. I just feel like there is an internal like struggle that they spent all of this money, and we've said that everybody always says, "Oh, that Microsoft, they've got so much deep pockets, they can write all this stuff up, blah 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 blah." But they've spent so much money that I feel like inside of the bean counters are like, "Okay, we need more return on our investments." Now we can't. You're not just like this. They're not just this hidden. It's just a little write off. Xbox, this little tax write off. Yeah, they just spent like $90-something billion the past couple of years. So like we need more of a return on investment, and it's not. They haven't jumped the subs. Game Pass subs haven't flew up to where we even saw in those leaked court documents where Phil said that they need to be at like 100 million subs by 2027, or they've got to change their strategy or something like that. Like I feel like there's some internal struggle where it's like, no, we need more money from this. And I'm sure Hi-Fi Rush didn't jump a lot of subs up. It didn't even sell that well on Steam. And so maybe this is them like, okay, we need to make more return on investment for this, so we've got to put it elsewhere. And I just feel like, okay, they see like if this game does do well, like on Switch and PlayStation 5, I think that does like leave the gate open for other games coming. I don't think these are one-offs. I think you're going to see this strategy with a lot. I think Starfield, we told Starfield's coming, and I've been told Indiana Jones is coming too, not till next year, but because that game's got to get out this year. But yeah, I just feel like if Hi-Fi Rush does well and makes them and they're happy with the money, there's going to be parts of Xbox that are going to be like, okay, let's push some of our bigger games, not all of them, but maybe, like I said, a Starfield. Whoa, let's get this on PlayStation. Let's get this on Switch too, and see how much more money we can make. Especially with Bethesda, too, because they've got the data. They put these games. Bethesda was one of the original Switch's bigger publishers.
Right.
And not like the stuff did come out later. So they've got data on how much these games, are going to sell. I mean, Wolfenstein 2, the shitty Wolfenstein Youngbloods, which is not shitty. I thought it was all right. Doom 1 and Doom and Doom 2, or Doom Eternal were on there. They had Skyrim's on there. I think there's another Bethesda game on there. Maybe not.
Oh, they got the old Dooms on there too. And
so I mean,
Doom 64 and
Xbox internally, they have a ton of data on what sells on Switch, even on PlayStation. Now owning Activision, even owning Bethesda before, they know what games sell on PlayStation and Switch. They've got a ton of data. So, yeah,
they do, and I agree with you. I think, but here's the thing. I think you don't identify Bethesda as an Xbox company. At least I don't.
No, but
maybe the Xbox fans do. So I think it's okay for those games to go on different systems. I'm saying the games that should only be on Xbox. Like you buy an Xbox to play Halo, to play Gears. Back before they ruined it, you bought it to play Fable because that new game is going to be utter garbage and nobody's going to play that.
No, but I think Phil did say when they bought him, this is for a great exclusive content where Game Pass exists. This was like in
show me the great exclusive content, and then I'll agree with you.
Well, I know he said this is for exclusive content where Game Pass exists. When they did that Bethesda roundtable when they closed the deal. So like,
right,
he talks out of both.
Starfield was a success for him.
He talks out of both sides of his mouth. And then did you see the interview from like 2020 after they put Ori on Switch? And he said, it basically came out. He said that he doesn't like this whole narrative that whenever they put out a game, people are waiting to know if this is coming out on Switch. So we've got to set a better expectation for our fans. So he didn't like that. So now he's doing the same thing though. So
yeah. Well,
this is why I always say,
their ass, right?
Xbox fanboys, live and die by his words, and it's like, dude, you
and
guys are so dumb because he plays you guys and he says one thing all the time and then he ends up doing the other, and which I do, and as a PlayStation fan, I'm not a huge fan of this movie. You would think I'd be like, oh, give me all these Xbox games, blah blah blah, but I want the Xbox brand and console to stay or get stronger, because it's bad for PlayStation fans if these games come and it slowly dilutes the brand and dilutes the console to where they, it's only like this really niche thing, or eventually they don't make one at all, and they're just like, our games are PC and they're everywhere, blah blah blah, because that just doesn't give PlayStation any. They can do whatever they want to, basically. Then
At that point, PlayStation doesn't have to get up out of the bed anymore
No.
and give its best efforts. They could shell out Last of Us 15 and
right.
make it utter garbage.
Or they don't really have to make too many first-party games anymore, really. They could go with like one a year because there's no competition.
Fair point.
There's no competition. Exclusives are to drive you to your platform or ecosystem, and if there's not a competing ecosystem, there's no really, they could just get all this free money from third parties, really.
Xbox dropped out of the console market, then that makes them just that would make Sony PlayStation just like Steam.
Right.
Where they're basically
right. Yeah, there's no reason
publisher.
for Steam. Yes, where's Steam's games or Valve's games? They stopped making them because they don't have to.
Right. We're never going to see Half-Life 3 because
No.
they don't have to make the game.
No.
You're going to get that with PlayStation.
Right. And
They don't have to invest all that money into making the games when people come to them to put their games on their system and they take that 30% cut.
Right. And you know what? Hi-Fi Rush I don't think is going to make people sell their Xboxes. Hi-Fi Rush coming to PlayStation or
which
Switch.
is why I say it's okay. My argument is the moment that you see Halo, any Halo,
Right.
anything dealing with Halo, it doesn't even have to be a mainline Halo. Even if they say Halo Wars 3 is coming to PlayStation 5, then you should start to worry.
Right.
Because then that is Microsoft destroying the Xbox brand. Putting Hi-Fi Rush on these other systems is not destroying the Xbox brand because that's not an Xbox game to me.
That's why I say it's like a slippery slope. You see, like, what if Sea of Thieves does come and it's super successful, and it's like, oh man, because putting the Halo franchise, Halo Infinite. Let me finish. Putting Halo Infinite on PlayStation and Switch would be great for the game and for the franchise. It would be great for both the franchise and the game. But it would be bad for the platform and their Xbox ecosystem. So it's, I feel like, if they see Sea of Thieves be successful, they're like, oh man, well, why would we not put Halo on here?
Okay, two things. One, that early Halo Infinite footage did look like it was running on a Switch. And two, we're not exploring another aspect here too. Let's say Sea of Thieves releases on PlayStation 5 and Switch, somehow runs on the Switch,
No way.
and it blows up big time. Just bear with me here, sake of argument.
Okay.
It explodes. It's the next big Minecraft. It's a huge phenomenon, right? So then Microsoft turns around and makes Sea of Thieves 2, and the only place to play it is on Xbox. We're not looking at that angle of things too, right?
Yeah. That's what in Nate the Hates video, he did talk about this, that Xbox, I don't know if he put it as they are, or this is their strategy is to maybe put a game on the first game, and then the sequel will be exclusive, hoping to bring those people to the platform. But I also, and that could work, but you also could have where once these first games come out, I feel like, just remember when we talked about the Blade stuff, about like, is it exclusive? Is it not? That dominated the conversation for that week, really. Did it or did it not?
Yes, it did. I think it still is.
I feel like you are going to have this conversation once you open that Pandora's box of, like, maybe not I think it's still going to happen after Hi-Fi Rush, but if you put a Sea of Thieves on there, like an Xbox Game Studio game, whenever they announce a game, you're going to get that conversation every game. Well, okay, well, when is this coming to PlayStation? When is this coming to Switch?
You're going to get it even for the Gears and the Halos.
100%.
And then you're going to get the people saying, I'm not buying the game until it's on PlayStation 5.
Right, and I think
I
you're
own
going
an
to
Xbox and a PlayStation 5, and I'm not going to buy the game until it's on PS5.
Do you remember the
Right?
anger of the Rise of the Tomb Raider stuff? When that was announced when that was just announced for Xbox, and people were like, "When is it coming to PlayStation? Why isn't Xbox saying when is it coming to PlayStation?" I feel like you're gonna have that. Like, if they pull the Hi-Fi Rush stuff on these two platforms, and then Hi-Fi Rush 2 is announced, and there's no PlayStation or Switch, people are because you know how the press works. The press is mostly PlayStation and Nintendo fans.
100%.
And so they're going to be like, when is it coming to PlayStation? When is it coming to Xbox? Blah, blah, blah. I feel like this move is going to do a lot of different things. Like, it could pull people to the Xbox ecosystem because I'm not, now that I have an Xbox Series X again, I'm not going to buy these for PlayStation and Switch. I'm just going to, Game Pass is still the better route to go for these games. Now, if they were smart, they would put like a little splash screen that's when these games boot up, like, you paid X amount of dollars for this, or you could have bought it for Game Pass on Xbox for X amount of dollars a month.
Or gotten Xbox or Game Pass for Microsoft, or no, Xbox Game Pass, and you could have played this on your phone for $14.99.
I bet you there's probably some like, because you know how games got to go through cert and get approved. I bet you there's something like that where they would reject it if they had that on there.
Well, no, those Ubisoft games got through with those in-game ads, which was ridiculous.
Yeah,
and you would probably see that same blowback on Xbox if they did that for that Ubisoft saw.
The only different stuff is the Ubisoft isn't trying to sell you a console. There's no Ubisoft console, so I think it might be like a little different. Because, PlayStation allows EA Play and then the Ubisoft subscription on there. But I remember they were against the EA what was originally EA Access subscription. Do you remember when they were like, "Oh, we're looking out for the best interest of our fans and our gamers, so we're not going to allow this on our platform." And Xbox,
no, they wanted that 30% cut.
Right? Yeah, right. Well, because it takes if you look at it, their thing. This is why Game Pass is never coming to these two platforms, is because you're paying a small amount for a huge library of games, and that takes away from people probably buying new games and spending more money than. So
100%.
Yeah, I think this is fascinating where gaming is going if this really happens, because like I feel like this could have like such a huge effect either way, and you've seen it with the fan base has gone absolutely, batshit crazy this week about these moves, and I think it's only good. This is just the beginning, because I feel like more games are coming and bigger games are coming. Not. I don't think Halo Infinite's coming or Gears of War or Horizon, but a lot of it depends on how these games do. Like if they bomb, they're going to be like, okay, this was a waste of time and money, So
yeah, well, Hi-Fi Rush, I don't think put up the numbers that they wanted, anyways. Even though that game is awesome.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves did the same. It did kind of blow up on Game Pass when it came to Game Pass and PC, like I said, but probably not enough for Microsoft. And that's the problem that I was trying to say earlier, is that, Microsoft spent all this money, and they could write it off, and they're still making a ton of money, but they always want to make more money. And it's never, Xbox is never going to make enough money to make them happy.
No.
Xbox could be the number one market leader and make all the fucking money, and Microsoft still would not be happy because they're not making enough money, because it's such a small portion of what the Microsoft company made.
Right.
Yeah.
But
whereas in Sony's case, Sony's only alive because of the gaming division.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you could say, before they spent all this money on Bethesda and Activision, you could easily write it off, all this stuff. But I feel like they've spent so much money that they're like the Eye of Sauron is on the Xbox by investors and the higher ups now. So like you're not hiding in the corner anymore, really spending a few billion, here and there or whatever. So now they're the eyes on them to produce more money. Which I know I maybe they've come to the point of realization that like I feel like PlayStation is now like in that Apple sphere of gaming where they're just like the default brand basically worldwide, really. And
well, I mean, Nintendo's still strong in Japan and here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for like, it's weird because Nintendo is in gaming and they are competitors, but they aren't really competitors. It's because the Nintendo's more of the family friendly, and I could see where PlayStation you can consider them in the more high end gaming market. I guess I don't know, but maybe they've realized like I don't know. I just don't think they've done a good job at marketing Xbox. You see like people on forums talk about how like Xbox is non-existent in Europe. Like they're barely in stores. There's no localization for a lot of their games in different European countries where there is for Nintendo and PlayStation, and they're just too US and UK focused.
And every time they try to break into those markets, they like give up right away.
Right,
Like when
right,
the
totally.
Xbox 360 was trying to get into Japan, and they had Miss Walker Studios make those couple of games. It's like they did that little bit, and then it was like, okay, well, we haven't broken sales records yet, so fuck it, let's give up.
Right.
And same with the UK.
Or I even feel like this move, they just I could see like the frustration of Xbox fans is that like they just put out this critical darling in Hi-Fi Rush, and they got Starfield, and now you're just getting the Activision stuff this coming year, and you're just starting like your new Xbox plan, and it's almost like you're already kind of throwing in the towel a little bit by putting these games on new platforms, and you're not giving yourself a chance to get out there and have a Call of Duty back on your box to sell, and it's crazy.
Right. You're not getting a play it here first, play it here best type of attitude from them. It's just like
they've already given up, it feels like.
Yeah.
And another thing I was thinking about too that is about Hi-Fi Rush, that maybe this is just is that Tango makes that game and they're out of Japan, and nobody in Japan really is going to play or has probably played this game because it's on, the least popular
Hi-Fi
platform
Rush
by a mile in Japan.
Doesn't feel like a Japanese game to me though, so that could be a problem of it not breaking through that market as well.
Well, it's not going to break through that market because it's on Xbox and it's not on the most popular platform.
Well, even it came to like Switch and PlayStation, like it doesn't feel like a Japanese game to me.
No, maybe not.
But I didn't play it all the way through. I just played it a little.
Yeah, I only played
first couple of levels.
I played it maybe like 2 hours, maybe, I think. Which it is.
I thought it was
good.
Too. Yeah, I thought it was good too. It's just that I'm not into rhythm games, and I gave it my best shot. And
it just came out at the beginning of when everything started coming out last year, and I was like, okay, well, I got a ton of PlayStation stuff I'm playing here, and I just never got back to it.
We have plenty of time to play it this year with PlayStation releasing nothing this year.
Yeah, totally. I can play it on PlayStation. Woo! Maybe. But yeah, it's been a pretty interesting week to see all of the reactions, and I was wondering if Microsoft or Xbox was going to say anything about it. They have not, so you would think usually if this stuff wasn't true, all these rumors, they would come out and kind of squash them.
Yeah, I feel like it's true, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of games do this, but it's going to be, like I keep saying, the non-Xbox brand stuff, the stuff that they've acquired, that they have IP for, and that they could generate maybe a couple million sales out of by selling them on these other systems. And hopefully they just don't do it with Gears, Halo, Forza. PlayStation 5 could have that next Fable game. That looks fucking terrible.
So, in my contact in the one Discord I was in did say that there is an internal Xbox Game Studios game that hasn't been announced yet that is going to release day and date on PlayStation and Xbox. And one of the co-hosts on Colt Eastwood's podcast, the Xbox, I forgot what his shitty Xbox podcast is, did basically said the same thing this week too, that he has heard that there is going to be a live service Xbox Game Studios game that is going to release day and date multi-platform. But I mean, we don't know what that's going to be though.
Fuck that. That's fine. Screw these live service games, man. I am so fucking done with them. Shall we just get into the next bit of news?
Let's do it. Go ahead. You lead the charge.
People ripping into Suicide Squad because
you know what?
Like total shit.
Yeah, well, you know what? It does, like, the pictures of the UI look just, like, busy as fuck. Like, holy shit. But you know what? I did see people on Twitter, like, normal people that played the alpha or beta say that they did like it. But not anybody in the media.
I was considering pre-ordering it, and then after seeing that IGN long-form gameplay footage of it, it looks like dog shit to me.
Yeah.
And I am entirely disappointed with Rocksteady, and Warner Brothers made a huge mistake forcing them to make that game. That there's no way they wanted to make this game after making all the past Arkham Asylum games.
And they all sold really well. It's not like they were not like a Bethesda thing where none of their games were selling except for Skyrim and Fallout, and they had to, pivot to Fallout 76 and Wolfenstein Youngbloods and what's the one that came Redfall. Like this is they it's not a different story. The Arkham series sold extremely well, so they could have just kept on doing that, but they didn't.
They wanted to make a Superman game.
Yeah, right. I think that was the rumor, is that they wanted to make a Superman game. It kind of got scrapped or something happened, and this is why this game is set in Metropolis. Because they reused a lot of this
right.
stuff.
That feels so fucking right, because this game's gonna fucking bomb, dude.
I want to play it just for the story, because the premise seems really cool.
That's the one thing that I keep seeing everybody say is the story's cool, except for the creepy parts where Harley Quinn's like being a pedophile.
Yes, I don't know. I may give it a shot. I'm going to wait for, obviously, reviews. I'm definitely not pre-ordering this game. This is a January game, though, isn't it, or no?
It's February, but
right.
You get the played in January if you pre-order it bonus.
Yeah.
And yeah, wait for Game Pass. Wait for it to come to Game Pass.
Yikes. Yeah, I don't know. I did see some people say that they liked it, but it was almost entirely 100% anybody in the media hated the game. Like,
well, there's
nothing
always
to say about it.
Some people going to say they like a game.
Yeah, totally,
I'm sure there's some people that say they like that Gollum game
there's
or
some
that King Kong game.
Some people that thought Redfall was decent.
Yeah, some people like Redfall. I thought it was okay. I still want to give it a shot with 4 players and see if it's any fun 4 players, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
But you know what? With all the crazy Xbox, negative Xbox news this week and people going crazy, they did announce their Xbox Developer Direct for next Thursday. Is it 17th or 18th?
I don't know.
One
I
of
just
those
know
days.
that it was announced.
18th.
Probably the 18th, because that's a Thursday.
Yeah. So next Thursday, and that's exciting. I'm actually pretty excited. I think they're gonna have a great 2024. To be honest with you,
And they need one, and I think they deserve one with all the studios and stuff that they bought that are making games.
I think that's especially why people are frustrated. It's like you're set up to have a really great 2024, and you're already like, it's almost like kind of waving a white flag a little bit. But regardless, we're off that subject. There 10 minutes of Indiana Jones, and the rumors are that game is releasing this year, which was unexpected, a week ago.
I don't know if I have high hopes for that or not.
It's Machine Games, dude. They're awesome. I have faith in Machine Games.
Yeah, well, with as long as it was in development, and because Bethesda was heading it up before Microsoft came in, and Microsoft's been hands off, I'm worried it's gonna be like Redfall and Starfield, just fall flat, right?
Well, hopefully not. Machine Games really has never let me down, so I'm excited for it. We'll see 10 minutes of it, so we'll probably be able to decide,
If they're showing 10 minutes, it's got to be
gameplay,
pretty damn good, right?
Right. They've got that Ara, is it History Untold or something like that? It's a PC game, I think. It's more of like an Age of Empires game, I think.
It's more like a city builder game,
okay.
like a Civilization type game.
Oh, okay, okay.
That does look neat. I seen that, and I am interested in that. It's good that they're doing stuff like that, like broaden your horizons,
right,
and release this stuff, and then you make the Xbox name recognizable, like, hey, Microsoft Studios on all this stuff, and then you start bringing it back in and being like only on Xbox or only on Game Pass. So you have to get this stuff. That's what they probably are doing, and I hope they're doing, using like a huge, broad, sweeping front like that to bring people into the ecosystem. But at the same time, it just doesn't feel like they care about their players.
Their console.
They don't give power to the players.
They're like, mobile this, mobile, play it on the cloud, mobile, 2 billion gamers, 2 billion mobile gamers, we want them. It's like that is so dumb. Like my wife is considered a mobile gamer because she's been playing Monopoly Go for the past month or so. And
Uh-huh.
like I could tell you right now, trying to entice her with anything that's in on PlayStation or Xbox is, a waste of fucking time. She's never going to play any of those games ever.
Mobile gaming sucks.
It's
Just my
it's
opinion.
different. It's a completely different. Mobile gamers, most mobile gamers probably don't want to play console games, even if you put them on a
No.
phone.
And definitely don't want to play PC games.
Yeah. So, but back to the developer direct. Yeah, Avowed's going to be there, which I'm excited to see more of that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look mind-blowing. It looks like it's going to be on the same scope as Outer Worlds.
I don't care if they can give us one of those every 3-4 years at the most. Like, great.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a billion hours long like Skyrim.
No, great. I'm glad Obsidian they can get games out fairly in a timely manner, which is great. So if they can keep like on that kind of scale, keep the visuals. We don't need like photorealistic visuals. I'm fine with that art style, but just keep giving us good games like that every 3-4 years. That's perfect. So I'm excited to see more about that. And then they're going to show Hellblade, which they said like we're going to get a deep dive into the making or their studio or something like that. They didn't mention
Nobody
anything
gives
about
a
gameplay.
shit about that.
Like I feel like that the more times I see that game, the less interested I'm in it. I'm getting so done with that game. Because
I am done with a game or studio anytime they show. Remember a couple E3s ago when Bethesda and all these companies started going, we're a group of diverse individuals, and then they just start showing you people working at their studio and how they have people with disabilities in the office working. Like, sure, that's fine, that's great, whatever. I don't care about that. I just want the game.
right.
Show me the game.
They've showed this
I don't.
they've showed this game so many times but shown so little of it.
Right.
It's like, okay, I don't care anymore. Release the fucking game. Like I'm starting to get worried about if they don't show like a lot of gameplay of this game, like I'm officially concerned for the game.
I think you got to temper your expectations. Remember how the first game was and played.
It just
I'm hoping
almost
that they
feels
didn't.
like they're hiding it. They're showing it, but kind of hiding it. Like, or maybe if they want to surprise, but like, stop. We don't need to see any more of the game. We need it. We need to see like a gameplay trailer and a 2-minute gameplay trailer, or launch trailer and a release date. I don't want to. That's all I want to see about for Avowed. Or I mean Hellblade. I don't want to see your studio or blah, 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 blah. You guys have killed the game by showing it. Like this is like the 4th time that they've shown Hellblade in one of these shows
And shown nothing.
and show nothing. Yeah. So
I wonder if the argument, or not argument, but the competitive it versus like God of War is going to happen again the minute they start showing more of it, because I don't think people should expect that.
well,
I think people need to play the first game.
An Xbox content creator fanboy thing that they keep like, this is going to be Xbox's God of War. It's like, okay, you're putting a little bit too much pressure on this game than you really should be. Let it be a
The
real.
only
Let it
thing
be
it has
a
in
let it,
common is Vikings.
right. Let it be a really good to great game on its own, and stop comparing it to a game that you don't even know what it is if it's going to be.
Right.
So
I'm expecting it to be a little bit larger and very similar to the last game, and I think I'm going to like it. I just think people are going to not like it because it's not going to be God of War.
yeah,
I think people are going to come out the gate expecting that, and I think that's wrong.
and then obviously they've set the standard for a potential shadow drop or something, or a potential surprise. So we'll see. That'd be exciting if we got a shadow drop, or if there was like a surprise game that they revealed at this show. So I'm
It's highly possible because they own like 10,000
I know,
video game
yeah.
studios
yeah. So that's really exciting. Like I said, their 2024
and a Starbucks.
is going to be stacked. There's still like third party stuff that they like that. What was that co-op heist game? Contraband. We haven't seen any more of that. There's quite a bit of stuff that they are working with other studios with that we haven't seen. So like I said, I think their 2024 is going to be awesome.
That's another thing I'm done with. I'm done with games copying other games. Fuck Contraband and all these other games that copy stuff that came before it, like Payday, copying these Left 4 Dead clones. I'm fucking sick of this shit. Show me something new, goddammit.
What do you think comes first out of Indie, Hellblade, and Avowed? What do you think comes first?
Uh,
Because all
they're
those games in the developer direct last year were all 2023 games, so I'm assuming all of these games are 2024. So
if they got 10 minutes of indie to show, I think that's probably going to release probably the first half of this year.
okay,
And then Hellblade's probably towards the end of the year because we still haven't seen much on it,
they probably
which is
Avowed maybe summertime or fall maybe.
probably like September or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
for Avowed.
Okay, yeah, I could see that totally.
And Avowed will probably be the best selling game out of the bunch, I bet.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, that's well, if we do our show on Friday next week, we can cover that basically Thursday or Friday. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. We get our first big show of the year. So
And hopefully some Game Pass must-have announcements
yeah, definitely.
coming to Game Pass day one.
What did you think of their January drop?
You know what? I haven't even really checked it.
I mean, it's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What else was in
Oh
there?
yeah, I did see that.
Resident Evil 2, which you know what is funny is if you look at PlayStation Plus Premium and Game Pass, they've got a lot of the same games. Resident Evil 2 remake was also in the PlayStation Plus Premium drop this month. They had Valhalla before in there too, so they get a lot of these same. There's a lot of overlap with these two services. It's just Xbox has the day and date drops with some smaller third party games and their first party stuff. So
We Happy Few came to Game Pass, which is weird because Xbox owns them.
Right,
But
yeah.
I guess Gearbox published it, so
Right, yeah.
so there is that.
So, in other news, let's talk about Capcom. We are big Capcom fans here on the FusionCast, right?
Not anymore after what they did. Those sons of bitches.
Woo, man. Adding some DRM to their older games, which is making them Steam Deck incompatible, correct?
I don't know that for sure. I read people are saying that. Most people are mad because Capcom's suddenly taken on an anti-modder stance, which makes sense to me for some games.
But doesn't this
Games that have go ahead.
doesn't some of this DRM actually like I know that Denuvo, I'm not a fucking PC gamer, so you'll have to excuse me for
It impacts performance.
Right, yeah. So like that's one of the big things too, right? So
Yes, and a lot of times lately, it's they don't put it in these games upon release, and then after
right after
a
reviews
little
and
while,
stuff. Yeah.
they add it in, and then suddenly people are pissed because the game's not running as good, and then after a long while later, they suddenly take it back out again after because they're trying to get sales on these games, right?
Right.
They're trying to prevent people from getting pirated content. So the people that are complaining are eventually going to have a workaround where some modder comes in and breaks Capcom's new DRM. So it's not that big to worry about, but the fact that it's impacting Steam Deck games that probably are already Steam Deck verified is a problem. Being anti-modder is kind of a problem, especially for like single player games and stuff like that. I can understand for like games like Monster Hunter and stuff like that because you want it to be played not competitively but online with other people using the same tools that you have access to. So introducing stuff that's beyond the scope of the game kind of affects the game.
Right.
And especially keeping it out of competitive games. But they're doing this to games that are old and have already been out. So they're going back and retroactively adding this stuff in, which is a fucking problem.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah.
And shame on you, Capcom.
Boo.
You
are the chosen one.
You are a golden goose, and now you're a bunch of assholes. But this could be a not from the top down sort of thing. Somebody could have started this within the company on their own, and they could reverse it. Knock on wood, fingers crossed, hopefully.
Yeah.
But overall, bad luck for Capcom after having such a stellar image for so long.
Oh, you know what I did see on Twitter? Jez Corden was talking about You could appreciate this rubber banding in Diablo 4 because it's obviously always online, even when he's not playing online. And I think you talked about that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, you walk through a door and then suddenly you're outside the door again.
Yeah. That
Or you are controlling your character to walk through the door, but your character walks into the wall instead because the latency of the inputs. Yeah, it's disgusting.
crap, garbage. That
Real
suck.
disgusting. And it's going to affect games like Suicide Squad too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stupid always online.
Uh, that's all I really got for news this week. What do you? How about you say we get into what we've been playing since we didn't do that last week either?
Yeah. I mean, it's real simple for me. So you
Go
go ahead first.
I have already
I'm.
I have already beaten 2 games this year.
Oh wow.
Yes. One of those games is Inside, which I
Oh, that game was awesome. How did you like that ending?
thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, I
That
fucking
was
love
wild.
that
You
ending.
just become that big blob, and you're just
Spoilers, man, for a 5-year-old gamer.
all right. Yeah, too damn bad. If you haven't played Inside, too damn bad.
And you just start rolling down
Yeah,
the
it's
hill
just
and
killing
everything.
everybody.
Oh, that was great.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah, that game's great. I don't know why it took me forever to play that game. It's been on sale for like $2 everywhere, even on
Well,
Switch.
shit, I owned it for like a year before I went back and beat it. And then I started getting, it's like you reach a certain point in that game, and then you just keep going. You can't put it down.
Yeah,
That's the
totally.
way it was for me. Like
Because you know
I got,
you could beat it in like one sitting if you wanted to. So that's what's great about it.
yeah, I kind of fell off at the one part where you're like swimming underwater because I'm never a big
Yeah,
fan of water levels.
right.
That's
Totally.
where I fell off of it. And then I went back to it one day, and once I got past it, I just kept going until I beat the fucking thing.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the water part where I was like, I really wish they would have kept this on land. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, I get you right there. But
Yeah, it
that's
wasn't.
an awesome game. It was on Game Pass, so I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's test this baby out. I'm gonna just start downloading stuff, get my $35 for 5 months of Game Pass worth over here.
Hell yeah. Take Microsoft for all they're worth.
Right. So,
What else you been playing?
I beat the original Pikmin,
Ah,
and
you
yeah,
picked your man?
I've never played the original Pikmin. I've only beaten Pikmin 3, and yeah, I love that game. Pikmin is such an underrated franchise. Absolutely love that game. It's very
Well,
the first one is very basic and simple. You're just doing
funny
the
you
same
bring
thing
that
all the
up
time.
because I was actually going through my GameCube games because I found this thing releasing here in the upcoming future that allows you to mod your GameCube
Okay.
and play games right off of an SD card, and you don't have to take out your optical drive, so you can keep playing your disc-based games on the unit and have games on an SD card. So I went looking through my old GameCube games and actually found my copy of Pikmin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I held the original Pikmin while you were beating Pikmin.
Cool. Yeah.
Kids don't beat your Pikmin.
No. I am gonna probably play the second one here in maybe like a month or two. Probably. My goal is to get through all 4 of them this year. Even though I've already
Nice.
beaten 3, because I want to just see the gradual step from each of them. But I don't want to do it back to back to back and back to hate, and then wind up hating Pikmin.
I think
4.
if you do that, you're going to wind up loving Pikmin 4.
Okay.
If you go from 1 to 2 to 3,
Yeah.
then 4, because 4 was an eye-opener for me. Because I never beat 1, even though I enjoyed it. It was the time sensitiveness of part 1 where you have to get everything done with a certain amount of time.
Right.
Even though it wasn't that hard, it still turned me off the game.
It didn't turn me off, but it kind of made it like, okay, we got to hurry, we got to do this. I did restart, the levels a few times, go back to a save probably like 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, so I beat those 2 games. Go ahead, you go. What are you playing?
I only played 1 game this whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
I've been playing... No, actually. I was going to beat that, and I have not. It was on my... I was supposed to do it over the long New Year's weekend. No, I've been playing Monster Hunter Rise.
Really? Okay, Steam, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Put in a lot of hours.
I think
And
I think I'm on like 7-star. What are they called? Missions, correct?
you are a 7-star rank.
Those are the missions I can take now. 7-star missions. So
You're right near the end of the base. Not
I
you're right
think I did.
near the end of the tutorial of the base game.
Right. Yeah. How do you?
I'm
How do
actually
you
working
feel?
on Sunbreak.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about the rampage things?
I don't care for it.
Yeah, same here.
It's sloppy. I've had to do it with a bunch of randoms because it's a little too hard to do it on my own as a bow character. At least I don't know how to do it on my own. The game's not clear. I guess you could build rampage weapons and maybe dominate that way, but I haven't made any yet, so maybe that's my fault. But the very first one I did not enjoy it, and I was turned off of it, and I just look for other people already doing one every time I have to do one for the story, and I've been skipping them otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm all about the one-on-one hunts, man.
I bought that game, so I got my 7-star missions on this Switch version, and I bought it on PS5, and then I started it up on PS5 like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going through all this stuff again. I just deleted it. I'm like, if I go back to it, I'm gonna go back to the Switch save.
I'm super hyped for Wilds. Like, seeing that got me back into Rise. I think Monster Hunter World is overall the better game because the maps you go to are larger
Yeah.
and more vertical,
Yeah.
and the game's better looking, I think.
Yeah.
But Rise has such a better multiplayer, being able to play with your friends component, and I'm hoping that they mold both of those into Wilds and we get the best of both games in that.
Yeah. Because there was some fuckery with Monster Hunter World's multiplayer, correct? And you have to like both.
Oh
guys
yeah,
have
you had to
beat the
fucking
game or something like that,
No, you didn't have to beat the game. What you would have to do is you'd have to go select your mission, eat your food, then go on the mission, do a couple of things, watch a cutscene, and then suddenly you could back out of the mission, invite your friends to play, and then go do the mission with your friends. Whereas you do not have to do that in Rise.
Gotcha.
And there's some gameplay mechanics in Rise that are a whole lot of fun. Riding your Palamute.
Yeah, that is really cool. And then like the wire bugs. Did they add the wire bugs in a patch to Worlds or no? Or with
yeah, that came with Iceborne.
Okay.
Something similar. It was a clutch claw, allowed you to grapple onto monsters real easy. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's a little bit more complicated to do it in Rise
Yeah.
than it was in World.
Yeah, so that's a really good game.
Yeah, and that's all I've been playing. Probably going to play it some after the podcast tonight while drinking my peanut butter porter.
I have 3 games that I am currently playing right now.
That you have not beaten.
That I've not beaten, but I'm on the road there. One of them
Oh.
is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online, which it's a neat little handheld RPG. The Mario and Luigi games are, they're nothing amazing, but it's fun. It's pretty basic, pretty fun. Yeah. I'm enjoying it, so I'm going to keep playing that and hopefully beat that here, next couple weeks. I have been playing a lot of Dead Space Remake on Xbox through Game Pass. And
Are you liking it?
Yeah, that game is pretty amazing.
Is it better than Callisto Protocol?
Yeah, for sure. It's better than Callisto Protocol. Although I would say that Callisto Protocol does some things better, like it's more cinematic. The acting and like storytelling is better in that game.
Right. And you see why people were disappointed with Callisto Protocol, thinking that it was going to be.
But yeah,
Dead
that's
Space.
about where it stops. Where it stops doing things better than Dead Space, really. Yeah, I mean, Dead Space is overall the way superior game. It is. It's awesome. There's too many weapons, I think, in there, but you really have to use all the weapons because you start running out of. Unless you're going to keep buying ammo, you really run out of ammo if you're going to use the same weapons.
Stop missing your shots.
I'm not, or just I guess maybe. But yeah, it's super cool. Like I love like when you get in the areas where there's no gravity, where you get your you get to like hover around and do the puzzles. Some great puzzles in there. Uh, yeah, overall, it's an amazing game. I can't believe I missed this. As being a fan of survival horror, I never played this before. So,
Yeah, you're gonna have to play 2 and 3 then. Well,
well,
not
people
3.
hate
Don't play
3, I
3.
guess, right? Don't people hate 3?
I'll play 3 with you though, because it's got online co-op.
I'm hoping they remake Dead Space 2. I don't know if they're going to though.
They've got to. 1 did so well, they're gonna do 2.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do 3.
No.
3 is a huge shit show. They might do a third game and do it completely differently. That would be cool.
People do say that they've like. I've heard people say that they've liked Dead Space remake over RE4 remake, and I don't know about that. They're both like top tier though for me. Like if I played this last year, this game would have been just underneath probably RE4. Like this would have been like my number 3 or 4 game probably.
Really?
Yeah, totally. Is that good?
Nice. You'll have to include it in this year's category of games we wish we played or something.
Right. Yeah, totally. And then I am playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Awesome game.
Yeah, I would say like you put it in one
Game of the year winner.
Put it for you. I put it in one word. I would say joy. Like we got it for everybody was sick over here for Christmas, so we were waiting to go by my mom's, and she got it for my son, and he's been playing it. He loves it. My 5-year-old absolutely loves it. And with the badge system, it's really neat. Like it does help out like the younger, less skilled players. And I've played before I even started. I just started my own game on it today, but I've been playing with him on his save multiplayer. And dude, this game is just a ton of fun. Like such a beautiful art style. This game has so much effing style.
Yeah, it does. I even like the flowers. They're kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Like even little things like that, they'll talk to you, and then when you hit enemies, you got all the phrases come out or words come out, and it's great.
It is a video game as video game.
Totally. Like Nintendo at their best here, definitely.
Yeah, they had a killer year last year.
Yeah. It reinforces like I'm super excited for Switch to the follow up to the Switch.
I lied. I did play a little bit of another game. Sea of Stars I played some more of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's on Game Pass too. I was looking at that. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, you got to download that and try that. It's really good.
I played the demo. Like, I know it's good. I played the demo. I'm like, when I get to it, I get to it, I guess. I think once I knock one of these bigger games or one or two of these bigger games off my list, I did download Like a Dragon, so I might play that.
The Ishin one?
No,
the samurai one?
Sorry, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yakuza 7.
Okay, the man who races. Oh, the RPG one.
Yeah. I own it through PS Plus. It's on Game Pass, so yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good.
So that's something.
I'm hyped for the sequel coming out this month.
Yeah, definitely looks great.
Oh hell yeah! I've seen pictures of you fighting a gigantic man-eating shark.
Unfortunately, you got to listen to Yang Ye though.
No, Japanese voices for me.
Will you go Japanese voices? Did you go Japanese voices on Yakuza on the first one?
I did not, which is going to be a disappointment because I like the American voices, but his voice is so terrible.
Oh, yeah, it's so bad.
And he's going to be in that game a lot, and it's probably going to be nails on a chalkboard for me. So, Japanese voices are really good in the Yakuza games, though. So,
you know what? I bet you should wait and play like the PC version and do it later because I bet you there would be a mod to just switch his voice.
Oh, there's going to be a mod just to mute him, so he's not talking at all.
100%, yeah. And I get you a better guarantee he's going to have a video of Bobby and all butthurt about it.
Oh, I unsubscribed from him since he made up that, or he didn't make up anything. He kind of threw a hissy fit after people saying he kind of sucked at voice acting. I used to watch him all the time, and then I saw a video where he was complaining about people complaining about him not being a good voice actor, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm done with you.
Oh, God.
I got plenty of people to watch.
That's too funny.
I got the FusionCast to watch.
Yeah, so that's really, that's all I have been playing.
You know what we should play just to talk about, you and I together? Exoprimal, because that's on Game Pass,
Woof, woof,
and
woof.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I have it downloaded.
Do you? I'll download it tonight, and maybe we can give it a shot in these upcoming weeks.
For sure, yeah, definitely. I have it downloaded. I just haven't because I feel like that's a high skill based game. Like I know Friday the 13th was. It's very to start it. It's very intimidating. But I remember I did play that with some online people. They were really friendly, so I did it. That's still one of my favorite games of last generation. Friday the 13th.
I loved it. I'm glad I picked it up on Steam before it got. You can't buy it anymore.
No, yeah, I have the physical Switch version.
You can't play it online anymore either.
I think that's coming it later. I feel like it's you can still play it online. I think
Possibly, but
put
they
a
are
post
going to
on
kill it.
They are going to, yeah,
Eventually,
yeah.
which is
Nobody
disappointing.
plays
you
it really. I tried to get a Switch game in. I think a few weeks ago, and there was nobody on. Which when it came out, it was super popular on Switch. A lot of people playing. The player base wasn't as toxic as it got on PlayStation. So I'm like, oh man, this is fun. I prefer playing it here. Because there was glitches that people found, and they would always fucking glitch, and you couldn't kill them. They'd glitch onto the top of the house, I believe, in one of the levels, and they never fixed it. Yeah, so
though playing as Jason against the NPC is a lot of fun though too. I mean,
yeah,
not as fun as playing online with other people, but just kind of
Right.
going through and murdering the NPCs
yeah,
the different ways you can is enjoyable.
yeah,
But that's all I'm going to be able to do on Steam after a while.
right. I did play. I did play one more game. It was this Kirby's Buffet game. It's like a Nintendo Switch online only game. It's like a 1 to 4 player, almost like Battle Royale, where you do all these it's almost like a Fall Guys type of game. It is actually pretty. It is actually pretty fun. We've been playing with my kids. They do like it. You unlock customs and stuff like that.
Got a little bit more homework for you.
I'm not good at
Download
homework.
and try Cocoon. Let me know what you think of that.
Okay, I'll try and get to that. 3 games on my plate is about as much as I could do. But I will once I get clear these, which shouldn't take too much longer. I think I'm on chapter 8 of Dead Space. I know there's 12, so I'm probably gonna be off all next week because we're severely cold weather. So I'm gonna plan on knocking this stuff out.
Blizzard, woo woo.
Yeah, and I think Mario Wonder is not a super long game either.
No, but there's a lot of secrets, which is neat.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all of the Wonder Seeds as I go.
There's a part where I jumped off of the overworld map and got into another underworld that was that had 1 or 2 little stages in it. It was really neat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with all the secrets, it probably can't be no more than 15 hours, probably.
No.
Yeah, so we'll knock that one out quick.
And I brought up Cocoon because I'm interested in your thoughts on it because so many people love that game at Game of the Year, and I'm just kind of I don't.
Are you okay?
Not sure if I like it or not.
All right. Well, what do you think? Is that a show for the week?
That's all I got.
All right.
I'm gonna drink another peanut butter porter. Yes, I'm drinking peanut butter flavored beer.
Peanut butter Paul Pooter.
Peanut butter pooter.
You're drinking Pooter?
I'm drinking pooter.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week with a pretty big show reviewing the Xbox Developer Direct.
Yes.
So more than likely Friday, if not Friday, Thursday. So just stay tuned, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn those notifications on, and we'll let you know when we go live.
Follow you on X? Are you on X?
I'm not on X.
Are you an Xer?
I'm on X, but I never go on it.
I'm not an Xer.
So
I'm on X too, but I've never been. No, I'm not on X. I was on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I never made the transition to X.
I'm on there, but it just got too bad with checking it, so I deleted it off my phone, and I've kept it off my phone for a good month, so that's good.
That's probably a wise decision.
Yeah, I come in and check on it when I get home and stuff like that, and still see the outrages and other bullshit. So,
can you believe what Xbox did?
Fucking Phil Spencer. Somebody should recreate the South Park. Do you remember the South Park movie where the guy's like, fucking Windows 98. Aaron Bill Gates is like, Windows 98 is the most, and he just shoots him. Somebody should do that with Phil Spencer.
That would be hilarious.
Oh my god. All right, everybody. I'm Fusion64, and we still haven't nailed this outro. For Rebel Blood 80, I'm Fusion64. We'll see you guys next week.
Adios.
Later.